Well, after a long journey by the family of the Plantars and Anne Boonjoy, they have arrived back in Wartwood, and is it good to be back? Okay, that was weird opening, but I'm rolling with it. This is Amphibia, this is episode 32B, Return to Wartwood, and yeah, like I said, it's fun to be back. So I really liked how they got back to Wartwood, and pretty much the whole town is just happy to see them. Like, they bring everyone together, like, hey everyone, the Plantars are back. It's like, oh wow, how have your adventures? Oh my goodness. It's like, where have you guys been? And so, like, they pretty much have the reunions with everyone, you know, like, Hop has a reunion with Sylvia, Ivy, Sprig has his reunion with Ivy, and just everyone, you know, so it's so cool. And even Wally is like, hi, how have you guys been? I totally didn't see you guys somewhere during your adventure. Nope, I've been here the whole time. I like that little nod, because I guess it would make sense that Wally isn't going to tell anyone in Wartwood that he's secretly a rich heir. Again, he just wants to be himself, so I understand why he kind of wants to keep that under wraps, but it's anyway. So yeah, it seems like the entire town is happy to see him, really glad they're back. And then they reveal, oh wait, there's more to this. That turns out that before they left, when Hop and Polly got the wagon, as they were getting ready, they were meeting up, like, they ran into a few people in the town, you know, like, obviously the town was curious of what they were doing, and so they said they were heading to Newtopia, and so it turns out, like, it started off with one person asking them to retrieve something for them in Newtopia, and then it just kept piling up and up and up as more people started showing up. So eventually, the Plantars, Hop and Polly had a list of everything that the town wanted from Newtopia, and a part of me was like, how are you gonna pay for all of that? Like, remember, they didn't know about the king's gold card until they got there and met the king. So, like, what were they gonna do in terms of paying for all that once they arrived? But it didn't matter because they forgot about it. Like, I love Hop. He goes into the wagon and he's like, okay, where is it? Ah, here's the list. Yeah, we kept it under the floors for safekeeping, so that way we wouldn't lose it. But it turns out we forgot that it was even there in the first place. And so Anne's like, are you kidding me? So basically, the majority of this episode is them trying to figure out what to do, because they obviously didn't get any of the townspeople their gifts, and of course suggest that they tell the truth, because, you know, because in all honesty, we've all made a mistake like that. We've all had a time where it's like, oh yeah, we'll promise we'll do blank, and we completely forget to do it. Sometimes it's because we just are caught up with a lot of other things. It just goes by the wayside. Other times it's just, I guess you can just not care. But yeah, it's so pretty much the lesson of the episode. I mean, I was like, okay, yeah, we're doing this episode. You gotta tell the truth. Don't want to tell a lie, because if you tell a lie, it's gonna keep building and building and building and building and building. And I'm like, this is kind of an interesting thing, because, like, you know, Anne's like talking to Hop about not lying, and I'm like thinking, so when Anne finds out that Hop hid the music box, how is she gonna react to that? So I mean, again, who knows? But so yeah, so the family. I did like this though. Like, again, like I said, Anne's against Hop lying to the town until they reveal that they were supposed to get something for Ivy, and so Sprig's freaking out because he's like, because he thinks that if he doesn't get it for Ivy, their relationship's gonna be screwed. So Anne's like, okay, no, I'm not gonna let that ship sink. That's literally what she said. And a part of me didn't like it, but a part of me just loved that line, just because, again, it's like, you know, shipping, it's like, yeah. Again, so basically Anne's doing it so Ivy and Sprig relationship doesn't go to heck. I'm not letting that ship sink. That was a weird line. Probably the only other time I've heard a good ship joke was Shaquille O'Neal. Like, if you guys have seen if you guys don't know, Shaquille O'Neal in basketball was terrible at making free throws, and so one day he got a boat and he went to social media and asked what he should name it, and so someone put down, name it free throw so you can never sink it. That was a really good one. So I mean, not let this ship sink. It's okay, but I mean, hey, I'm probably gonna say that when how season 2 comes out. I'm like, okay, Amity and Luce, what do we got? Oh man. But, okay, so you're probably wondering, how is the family going to get out of this one? With the fact that they owe the town all these gifts, and they have to actually meet up with the town later that night, because they were going to throw a welcome back party along with a dinner, and they were going to end it with giving all the gifts. So, yeah. So, what they decide to do is the most twisted, weird, cult-like thing I've ever seen in a show. And I've seen some crazy stuff. So basically what they do is like, okay, well, so the plan is they were going to summon this monster, they were going to summon a monster to come in, attack the party, but only go after the gifts. Like, they pick out a specific beast that doesn't attack frogs, and so only go after the gifts, because, you know, it basically destroys anything in sight. So they decide to summon this what do they call it? Chickless. Oh my god. And so it's so freaking ridiculous. And even like the artifacts they have to round up is like they have to go to the highest peak and outrun these like wolf kind of things to get this horn, and then they got to get these other things. And I love their third one. It's like, and then we have to go to the market and retrieve the most sacred of candles, and it's like, yeah, okay. And then it's so stupid. And yeah, so they do, and this is, you know, and then you have your classic red circle with the creepy ruin, you got the candles, you got them all in black hoods, and it's like, oh, green chickless, you shall rise. It's like, Jesus. And a part of me was like, wait a minute, you guys did all this in one day. Like, I get it, you probably can't get to Newtopia and back in like that, but come on. So, yeah, so they go to the party, and right on cue, Chickless arrives, and this was pretty funny. I like this. They actually gave the monster subtitles so you can actually understand what he's saying, but obviously no one else can understand what he's saying. Like Maddie, who is excited to see Chickless, because, you know, obviously that would be her thing. She has no idea what the thing is saying, but it's very funny just seeing its dialogue. It's just like, what the heck? My favorite one is the last line it says, because there's a lot of layers to it, but so yeah, the chicken attacks, and yeah, pretty much the Chickless attacks, and the thing's got pretty messed up powers. Like, not only does it breathe fire, but it can also create a concentrated beam that turns anything it hits into stone. Kind of creepy, but Maddie's able to change him back. That was actually kind of cool. So they have this giant, so yeah, like, of course the family's playing it off, like, oh no, a giant monster! How could this have possibly happened? Literally, that's how they deliver the lines, and it's like, you're kind of wasting it. And then even it like gets to the point where the town actually fights back, because they're like, we're not gonna let this thing destroy all the hard work the players did. It's like, so they fight back. Pretty epic fight, in my opinion. Like, this was a very creative battle. I really like the combinations they had with this, because again, it's the entire town going after this thing. It's not like a group or just like Anne or something. This is the entire town, and I think yeah, this is really the first time an entire town has gone toe-to-toe with a monster, other than like a few times earlier in season 1, but this is like the first big one that they fought against. And so, yeah, and there's even like a few jokes, like there's one where Toadstool like uses Toady as a human shield, but Toady is luckily turned to stone, so the beam just like blocks it off, and then Anne's like, oh wow, that was actually clever using Toady as a Toady who was frozen as a human shield, and Toadstool's like, oh wait, he was stoned. You got that classic joke. But eventually the chicken burns the presents, or the fake presents, I should say, destroying them. And so the town, they continue the fight, and they eventually do this. They do the Chickless formation, and I love like, wait a minute, you guys have a Chickless? Wait, you have a Chickless formation? And then the Toad says like, we have a formation for everything, and I'm like, fair enough. So they do the Chickless formation, and a part of me was like, okay, so what are we gonna do with this? I did not see this coming. So Chickless, like, again, he speaks, and we see the subtitles like, okay, that's just offensive. I'm out of here. I was so caught off guard by that. I was like, wow, that's how we get rid of this thing? Like, literally, it leaves after that happens. Like, it does I'm like, okay, we got rid of this thing by offending it. It was so weird. It was so crazy. And yeah, so the town wins the fight basically, and pretty much like, like, again, they really bummed that they couldn't save the presents, and they felt like that the Plantars, they're like, you guys worked so hard to get those presents. I'm so sorry that this happened. It's like, we should have fought harder. Maybe we could have saved the presents if we actually did more. And I'm like, you guys did enough. Like, literally, this fight was crazy. Freaking, I remember, like, Wally was throwing boom shrooms at it. Mrs. Croaker, like, sticked her pet tarantula on the thing. Like, it was so creative and so much fun. But, of course, the family is like, okay, we confess. No, we didn't get any presents for you, and we summoned the chicken to burn. I'm like, okay, you can say you didn't get any gifts, and you were just pretending that actually, no, they probably would have had to confess the fact that they summoned a freaking chicken monster. But of course, at first the town feels betrayed, and even Toadstool is like, well, I wouldn't expect nothing less of the Plantars. But I must say that was probably the most fun we've had in a while. It's like the town forgives them because they said that it's been really quiet and boring without them, and that the insanity and action that they bring is always fun. And so they're like, we're glad you did it, because it was awesome to fight this thing, and it was like so cool. Yeah, and so obviously though, you can't lie. Although I think my favorite episode that tackles that lesson is the Gravity Falls one in the Bottomless Pit episode, where in that episode they kind of like the shut-in, they're stuck in this bottomless pit, and they have to tell and they're each and the three of them tell a story. Mabel's story is about Uncle Stan lying, and how she finds these magic teeth that force the wearer to tell the truth, and then she realizes that if someone tells nothing but the truth, it doesn't always lead to good things, because sometimes, it's like, sometimes telling the truth does lead to bad things, because sometimes there are truths that need to stay under wraps. Like, you can't because if you literally told nothing but the truth, it wouldn't go well. So I like how the lesson of that episode is, there are times where you should not where telling the truth isn't always the right option. It's like, you have to understand that. But again, it's like, in this episode, is basically like, you mess up, take responsibility. That's basically how they handle the truth, tell the truth, don't lie shtick. So, I don't know. But yeah, in terms of it, fun episode. Probably one of my favorite battles in the series so far. But yeah, in terms of the actual episode, thought it was pretty cool and all right. But again, that battle was, I thought, yeah, I really loved the battle. I thought it was really fun. And again, really, really cool to see the town fight alongside the Plantars in this. Because, again, we've had episodes dedicated to some of these characters, so we know them. We know their character, and so it's so cool to see him actually do something awesome. Like, again, with Wally and his boom shrooms. Those, every minute, I freaking love Wally, man. He's my favorite character. I'm gonna keep saying that until someone else somehow tops him, but I doubt that's possible. Alright, that's probably enough. So, hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. If you want to subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next one.